Bernstein laughed to himself. Melinda had them under control, too. She just seemed to understand what to say and do. The day before this visit to the rabbi, Melinda had dropped by on her own with some homemade cake. The day before that, she had called to remind them about their planned doctor visits. Instead of being offended, as they would have done if their son had been so bold, they simply fawned in childish delight. The door to the study opened. "Please come in," said Rabbi Gershom Keller, a thin man with a trim white beard and a tiny yarmulke clipped to the small hairs on the back of his balding head. He looked like every rabbi in pictures, resembling even the ink painting that hung on his wall. That rabbi was davening, head covered with a shawl, but with the beard and face poking through the folds. Rabbi Keller gestured at two small wooden chairs by his desk, which was crowded with papers. An impressive-looking certificate lay on the blotter. Books, magazines, and papers had been moved aside to clear room for the certificate. The room itself was shadowy with large bookcases towering over the visitors. Bernstein glanced around. The place hadn't changed much since he and his parents first joined this shul. Then, of course, the rabbi had less gray. That was all that seemed different. Bernstein was willing to bet that if he checked carefully enough there'd be his first-grade evaluation under one of the piles, not to mention some stale tam-tams. Rabbi Keller smiled at them and asked for the birth certificates. Melinda handed over the folder. He opened it gravely and pulled out one certificate, then the other. He then looked at Melinda. "Your mother was Lutheran." "Yes, Missouri Synod," she replied. "And your grandmother?" "She was a member of a tiny liberal Christian sect my late grandfather started," Melinda explained without a hint of concern. "Where was she from?" "Krakow, Poland." The rabbi considered that. "Do you know how she met your grandfather?" Melinda nodded. Grandma and her family left Poland just after World War II started. They made it to England, where my grandfather was working. Then, after the war, they came to this country. My father was born in New York and moved to Connecticut after he married my mother. "Krakow," the rabbi mused. "Oh," Melinda said, "she wasn't Polish. She was German. She always told us that. She lived in the German part of Krakow." The rabbi arched his eyebrows and contemplated that bit of information. Then he looked at Bernstein. "Have you ever looked at your birth certificate?" he asked. "Not really," Bernstein admitted. The rabbi pursed his lips, then silently passed the certificate over. "Perhaps," he suggested, "you should." A bit perplexed, since the rabbi hadn't really looked at it, Bernstein took the proffered slip of paper. His mother had dug it out from a file drawer, which contained information about his late brother as well as the records of his sister, who had moved away about 5 years ago to marry a goy in the Navy and hadn't been heard of since. Mother was always so organized. She knew exactly where to locate anything. Bernstein saw his formal name, Herschel Bernard, his date of birth, July 4, 1976, the location, Yale New Haven Hospital, his father's name, Morris Jacob Bernstein, his religion, Jewish, his mother's name, Rachel Fawn Barrow, and her religion, Christian Scientist. He stopped reading. "This can't be right," he said. "Mom is Jewish." "I am sure the hospital made a mistake," Rabbi Keller said without a hint of concern. "You should have her correct it." He waved his hands across the certificate. "As you can see, there is no point signing the get if you are not Jewish. In fact, you might consult a justice of the peace for the ceremony." He then glanced at Melinda and said something to her in a foreign language. Melinda laughed lightly and replied in kind. "What is going on?" Bernstein hissed after they left the synagogue. "He said this was quite a mix-up," Melinda said. I agreed with him. "He was talking in Yiddish," Bernstein whispered urgently. "German," Melinda corrected. "I don't know any Yiddish." Bernstein slumped into the car. His head hurt again. His stomach was churning as fast as his thoughts. His heart was thumping madly. The hospital must have written down the wrong religion. His mother was Jewish. She had to be. Every Friday night, like clockwork, she lit the Shabbat candles and covered her face in prayer. She went to service faithfully, kept kosher for his father, fasted on Yom Kippur, oversaw the Seder and every other ritual in an exacting manner. She made sure the correct prayers were said for Hanukkah, that the menorah was lit in the proper direction, that the Kiddush cup was full, that the Yazite of his brother was carefully observed. She visited the cemetery regularly and left the requisite pebble on the small monument. Her vocabulary, her manner, her cave etching, her commentary on life, it was all Jewish. She had to be Jewish. Her sense of humor was Jewish, the same faculty that had tripped up the man in the glass booth. Thus decided, Bernstein felt better. What a story this would be to tell his children. Daddy and Mommy almost couldn't get married in a synagogue. Dumb hospital. His mother poked her head through the living room curtain as they drove into the driveway. This time, however, she didn't meet them at the door. Puzzled, Bernstein unlocked the door. "I'm in the kitchen," his mother called. "Just a minute." She appeared a few minutes later with a large cake in her hand. "Hungry?" she asked. "That looks lovely," Melinda started. "Later, Mom," Bernstein interrupted. He wanted to be calm, to stay confident and self-assured like Melinda. Instead, he felt his voice quaver. "We saw the rabbi, Mom," he continued, gulping in great breaths of air.